Anna sighed in relief as she pulled into the daycare parking lot. It had been a long day at work, and all she wanted was to get her 4-year-old son, Daniel, home for dinner and a quiet evening. Inside, she found him waiting by the door, his tiny fingers gripping the straps of his backpack. His wide brown eyes lit up when he saw her. "Mommy," he chirped, running into her arms. Anna smiled and scooped him up. "Did you have fun today, sweetheart?" Daniel nodded but didn't say much else. He was always quiet after a long day, so she didn't think much of it. She signed him out, waved to the staff, and took him home. That night, as she prepared dinner, Daniel sat at the kitchen table, watching her. Not playing with his toys. Not doodling with crayons. Just watching. "Mommy," he finally said. She turned to him. "Yes, love," his little brows knitted together. "What's my name?" Anna let out a small laugh. "What kind of question is that?" "Your name is Daniel, silly." He frowned, as if considering this answer. Then he nodded. "Okay." Something about the exchange sent a chill down her spine. The next day, odd things started happening. Daniel refused to put on his favorite dinosaur pajamas. He always wore them, but that night, he shook his head violently. "No. Daniel doesn't like those," he said. Anna froze. "You are Daniel, sweetheart," he stared at her, unblinking. Then, with a slow smile, he whispered, "Okay." She laughed nervously and helped him into another set. Maybe he was just being a toddler. Kids could be weird sometimes, right? But it kept getting stranger. Daniel no longer played with his favorite stuffed bear. He asked for foods he'd never eaten before. He started using words far beyond his age, speaking with an unsettling calmness. Anna froze. "You are Daniel, sweetheart," he stared at her, unblinking. Then, with a slow smile, he whispered, "Okay." And then, on the third night, Anna was tucking him into bed when he grabbed her wrist. His grip was ice cold. "Mommy," he said in a low voice. "Where's the other Daniel?" Her breath hitched. "What do you mean, the other Daniel?" he repeated, staring at her with those two wide eyes. "The one who was here before me." Anna's stomach twisted. She tried to laugh it off, ruffling his hair. "You're just tired, baby. Get some sleep." But she barely slept that night, her mind replaying his words over and over. The next morning, she drove straight to the daycare. A pit formed in her stomach as she walked inside. The receptionist, a middle-aged woman named Mrs. Reed, looked up and smiled. "Oh, Anna. Back so soon?" Anna frowned. "Back?" Mrs. Reed nodded. "Yes, after yesterday's mix-up. We're so sorry about that, by the way. It's never happened before." Anna's heart pounded in her chest. "What? What mix-up?" Mrs. Reed's smile faltered. "When we accidentally released Daniel to the wrong parent, the world tilted." She gripped the desk to steady herself. "What do you mean the wrong parent?" "Well, it was a mistake, of course," Mrs. Reed said quickly. "Another man, he looked just like Daniel's father, came in and said he was here to pick up Daniel. He had the right paperwork, everything. But when we realized our mistake and called, you had already picked up Daniel, so everything worked out, right?" Anna's blood turned to ice. She had picked up her son, but had she, the thing sleeping in her house, the thing that wore Daniel's face, was not her child? Anna turned and ran out the door, her only thought clear in her mind: she had to find her real son, before it was too late. Want to know what happens next? Wait for next part.